I want a competition between Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. I don't want 2 teams. I want 3 teams up there battling out every weekend. It'll make the dynamic way more interesting for the fans to watch.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Track Limits podcast presented by Formula Addict. We're here in Toronto at Creator Club Studios, and we're really excited to tell you all about the Track Limits podcast. Welcome first and foremost, guys, though, to the first episode. Are we excited?
Very.
Let's do it.
I mean, this has been a long time coming. We have now spent probably a month and a half in Europe. We have shot a bunch of guest episodes. We've done a bunch of skits.
What are we at, 20?
I don't even know now. I think 20.
I think
20
so.
or 21.
And it's growing.
And it's growing.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch. So very excited, obviously, for season 1 of this podcast. Let's quickly tell you guys a bit about what the podcast is all about. I think for all of us here, we really saw a big opportunity to create a podcast that was different than anything else you've seen. We are going to where our guests are located, no matter where they are. We're recording them in their most comfortable environment, whether it's their gym, their home, a studio that we find in a random city. We are trying to make our best effort to make our guests comfortable and to ideally ask them questions that aren't just about racing, to get really kind of behind the scenes about who they are, what makes them tick, who they are off the track. So we're really excited about the season, along with guest episodes and race reflection episodes at the end of every race. We are going to be doing a bunch of giveaways. We're going to be doing a bunch of skits as well. We've embarrassed ourselves in a bunch of cities already.
Lost a lot of money.
Lost a lot of money.
Only, to be honest, it was just him.
Yeah.
To be fair, you were giving away money.
I was losing a lot on the remote control. I don't know if I can even share that.
Yeah. Ooh,
sneak peek. But we're going to do a lot of those, and we're doing live activations at various Grand Prix. So if you do see the Track Limits team at any Grand Prix, come by, say hi. But let's get into this first episode before we even, go into some of the hard-hitting questions that we kind of are grilling our guests on, but now we kind of have to ask ourselves. Why doesn't everyone go through and just kind of tell us a little bit about who you are? What really got you into F1? Henny, do you want to start us off?
Wow, okay. Yeah. So, my name is Henny.
No ladies first or anything?
I know. That's just wrong with you.
It's fine. We're all
She's a sister. So my name is Henny. I became a fan of F1 back in 2020, I would say. More likely, we used to watch Mikey wake up 7 a.m. in the mornings in 2018, 2019, watch these races. Never understood why until we were stuck in COVID and watching Drive to Survive and became huge fans. So that's my story and my arc.
I love that. And we watched Abu Dhabi together. Let's talk about that. That was 8 a.m.
Yeah.
That was the first race we watched ever together.
As a fan of Red Bull, it was...
Was that where your love
that
for
must
Red
have been
Bull
a tense
really
It was. Well, because I kind of gave up on that race, I was like,
Walking out.
He was on his phone and he was like this. And I'm like...
Mercedes.
Did you celebrate in front of him?
No, I was shocked too
We were all
because I'm
shocked.
like, there's no way the race can end like
That would have been
Yeah.
friendship over
over there. No, I did not celebrate. No, I didn't want that for Lewis either.
Feven, what about you?
So my name is Feven. I am married to Mikey.
Yep.
He always watch like a random hours. He'll be on the laptop on iPad. This is before like F1 TV was like a big thing. So you were streaming it. I don't even know how.
Illegally.
Yeah.
Some dodgy sites going on there. Like,
Sponsor my man, please.
So I was like, why is the sport so important? It's just cars going in a circle. I just didn't understand
Such an
it.
insult.
I know, it is an insult. And you know what? When people say that to me now, I'm like, guys, you don't even know. So I ended up watching Drive to Survive. I think I watched a couple of races with you because
you watched in the background. You watched in the background.
but then the more I understood the sport and just how the sheer athleticism that goes into and the technology and just the amount of people in the sport, I was like, oh my God, this is actually really sick. And I want to be in this sport. And that's kind of where the love started.
I love that.
It's good.
Yeah.
Mikey, what about you?
When I was younger, grew up like every Sunday.
In Ireland, by the way.
It was always on Sunday after dinner. The F1 was always on. My dad would fall asleep on the couch. My brother would fall asleep, but I was just addicted to watching it. And then it was like later then when you guys got into it and Drive to Survive came along, it brought a different aspect because like I was a fan of sport, but I didn't really know the drivers, didn't know their background, didn't really follow them in social. Now you get such an insight to it. it's reignited my passion for the F1.
Yeah.
And especially what we're doing, it's amazing to get immersed in that world, meet interesting people. So I genuinely can't wait. I think it's going to be
And the
crazy.
amount of hours we spent on sim racing.
Sim racing.
Oh,
3 a.m.,
that's a
4
different
a.m.
story.
in
We
the
can't get
morning.
into that.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, honestly, for me, it's very kind of different in the sense of I was obviously born in Singapore and, you know, went to a few Grand Prix there, Singaporean Grand Prix, Malaysian Grand Prix. I don't think, though, I was really into F1 from like the age of like 7 to like maybe 18, 19. I just, you know, hockey, basketball, these are the
In
sports
Canada,
in Canada, right, that are way more popular. But I think sim racing is what got me back in F1.
And you got me into sim racing.
Yeah. I mean, it was so much fun. Candidly, I just felt lonely, but like I needed people around me to race. I could have just raced online noobs. Haha. No, I'm kidding. They used to kick my ass. But I think sim racing got me back in F1. And then it was so much fun because, you know, when Drive to Survive came out, I mean, I saw a couple of the first episodes, but then all my friends started watching it.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, we have an extended friend group now that all watches races with us on Sundays.
great.
Watch
And
parties.
I wouldn't even imagine that would be a thing, you know, like
No.
maybe for basketball, but
Yeah.
definitely not
We got
for
our own
F1.
Super Bowl miniature
Yes.
every Sunday.
Yeah,
Like,
the Australian time zone is probably the best because it's
Yeah.
like perfect for a few
Get-
drinks.
get a little rowdy.
Perfect. A few drinks.
You know what
That was
like
not it.
F1 is missing? A halftime show.
Oh,
Yes.
indeed.
Oh my goodness!
Indeed.
If there was,
Yeah.
honestly,
And here's
like,
Beyonce.
They just stop the
Dead.
car
Dead.
on the tracks.
like,
Just stop
that's
it.
like an extended pit stop.
Yeah.
Like everyone just
Yeah.
refuel, take
my
a
God.
break.
Yeah.
We'll
Just
come
do
back
like
when
cricket
we-
where they go for team biscuits
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
come
Key
back
Biscuits.
in. Like,
Oh man,
that'd be
that'd be
sick.
iconic. But anyway, let's get into a few questions now. I want to talk first and foremost about our outlook for season 1, okay, and what everybody is excited about for this project. What are you probably the most excited about when it comes to season 1 and track limits? Maybe Feven, you can start us off here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing watching it and having our watch parties, but it's another thing to be involved and meeting people and getting just a completely different perspective of the sport. Even in the last few weeks, I just feel like I know more, seen more, met different people that are just so interesting. So I think for me, it's just to be even more immersed and producing the best content
Yep.
where we're going, that's the track limits. Like
Yeah.
we have our signature content or styles. And yeah, just being, having the opportunity to go to more events that are just cool.
Yep. I
Henny?
agree. To add on to that, it would just probably be to meet people that look like us. I think we're seeing a lot more of our, especially the North American side coming into this league and coming into the sport. And I think it's cool to see and create a culture around that and a community, like Feven said. I think that would be cool. Like imagine we're at a Grand Prix and people know TL. They're coming up and
That's
they're
the
like,
dream,
joining.
right?
Like, that is
Yeah.
that is that kind of culture I want to build, especially this season.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'll even add that, live activations are definitely the thing I'm looking forward to the most. So building a community, but then not only having that be online, but in person.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to that. Mikey?
Yeah, just like we were all fans from the outside looking in. Now we're actually being a part of a growing sport. We're getting to meet the people in the sport, and like just even doing the skits with fans. It's so much fun. Genuinely so much fun. So I can't wait to meet more people, do more experience, and build a whole TL brand. There's a lot to come. We've met so many great people, and there's so many more we want to do.
And they're so kind, by the way.
Yeah.
I will say
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The people we met in the motorsport community are so helpful. They've been so resourceful. Intros, don't do this, do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gems.
Yeah.
Honestly, going back to Henny's point,
Yeah.
one of my favorite quotes that I always think about is what you can't be what you can't see. And I genuinely and I think that's going to be like the biggest piece of this is that not only are we going to be a North American audience, hopefully and growing, but there are going to be more folks that look like me, you,
Yes.
everyone,
Yep.
females, all
Yes.
gender,
Yes.
everyone, and
Yeah.
then they're going to be exposed to the sport in a different way. I think that's our biggest.
Yep.
That's our biggest mission here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, that's
It
our
was
goal.
Crazy
Yeah.
when we were walking down Europe, we were probably the most diverse group that could have existed. Like everybody was
Oh
represented.
yeah. Some communities were, scratching their head.
How did y'all
is this
meet?
normal?
I love that. Well, let's go kind of into then who we support, right? Like, let's talk about teams. Let's talk about drivers. Mikey, who do you support? I think I have a inkling based on our years of really, knowing each other. But yeah,
I am a Mercedes fan at heart. I was gutted for Lewis last year. I believe
Or
he's got
2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago.
seasons
Yeah,
ago,
sorry.
sorry.
We're still living in 2020.
Yeah, I can't get over that, man. I can't get over that. Yeah.
I was gutted for Lewis actually last season too.
Yeah.
Though, to be
Yeah.
fair,
Rightfully
Was it
so.
what was it? Was it Brazil he had the chance?
He
Yeah,
did,
it was
yeah.
Brazil.
No,
yeah.
George represented the team there.
No,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
were-
they still
were
gotta
neck
win.
and-
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just-
But no, like I'm a Lewis or Mercedes fan at heart. Lewis,
Yep.
really support him. I think he's got another championship in the bag. But it's crazy, like from the Drive to Survivor, just from being more involved now. There's so many other drivers that have so much character that I'm being torn because I like an individual. I mightn't
Yes.
like, not that I don't like the team, but like there's an individual. I'm like, oh, he's the underdog. I want to support him.
Same here.
Yeah.
Henny?
I mean, I would have to go with Red Bull again.
Yeah.
I do love Max and the way he drives. I think he's untouchable right
He
now.
has a
He
plaque
is.
in his bedroom of Max.
Yeah.
He had
I
you
play,
down.
when I wake up, Super Max. That's my FM song. But I, at the same time, I think I'm rooting for people like Norris, people like Albon. I think they
Underrated.
also have, the same skill level.
Yeah.
If you give them the right car, I think they're able to perform at a high level.
No, fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite driver is Lewis.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Charles is actually really, really close second.
Okay.
I
Nice.
really love because I love Ferrari. I
Yeah.
know despite their last
Hiccups.
year hiccups with
Yeah.
strategy, I think this year
Yeah.
it's a lot to look forward to. So I'm really excited to watch both teams. Honestly, I love this sport.
How much of the affection for Charles is based on looks versus John? I'm curious. I'm not trying to put Mikey, in an uncomfortable position here. But yeah.
For me, it's like 70% looks, 30% driving.
You know what? It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I think last year it was actually based off of last year how
Yeah.
much just at the beginning of the season potential he had
Yeah.
to actually compete and maybe even win
Yes.
last year's championship, and then it's just slipped through.
Potential to
It just-
pain.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So now I want the redemption arc for him. So
Yeah.
that's where, and it's just I think he's a great driver.
Yeah. No, he's a
Yeah.
fantastic
course.
driver.
Of course.
Generational driver. And we do have a guest linked to him.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Coming
big
up.
one.
We'll see which one that is. But anyways, let's get into rookie predictions now. There are 3 new rookies.
We didn't
coming
hear
in.
yours.
Oh, no,
yeah.
Mercedes. Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
just thought
okay.
it's given,
Oh, come on.
Come on.
You gotta announce
Ferrari
it.
I support the greatest driver of all time, so I'm just gonna say it. But
Bold
no,
statement.
I think he is.
Yeah, let's not get into this right now.
I mean, he's up there, but damn.
But no, Lewis is my guy. Mercedes is my team. But I agree with what Mikey said. If Lewis went to another team, maybe I would support him
Yeah.
because I do support the individual a little bit more than the team. But I think that's the case with other sports too, right?
Of
Some
course.
people are LeBron James fans, and he goes to another team. They'll be like, okay, I'm a Denver Nuggets fan. I don't know. Anyways, but
Never
yeah,
gonna happen.
rookie predictions because I'm very excited about this in
Okay.
particular. There's 3 new rookies coming in.
Yeah.
We have Oscar Piastri, Nick DeVries, and we have Logan Sargent. Okay. Now I'm going to kick off with my thoughts here
Okay. Of
because
course
I
you
think
are.
I've been vocal, very vocal in the past.
Yeah, you
That
have.
I think Logan Sargent is a generational talent. And first and foremost, we'll say anybody who's American should be given like way more appreciation
Yeah.
for getting into F1 because
Yeah,
it
it's
is
very
so damn difficult. And yes, Logan Sargent carded a lot of his years in Europe as well, but he started off in America. And I think, again, when you look at the results, like, in F4, for example, like being able to come in, for example, and win, like literally 15 out of his first 18 races, he had a podium. Right, you had F2, for example, where he had an unbelievable season. In F3 in 2020, he could have beat Piastri, came out to the last race. A little bit of a blunder made, DNF'd. I think he is very, very close to Oscar. So yes, Oscar is incredible, but I'm going to go with my man Logan. Henny, disagree, agree?
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
I think he has a lot to show, and
Yeah.
again, it comes down to that car.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it does. It does.
We know we've
Yeah.
seen what Williams has shown us in the past 4 or 5
Nothing.
years. It's just nothing with their
No, but it's
cars.
going to be a comparison between him and Albon.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's,
I-
that's a good
comparison.
test,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think, after talking with Nick DeVries over the launch,
Yeah,
he's hungry.
he is hungry.
He's been waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot to show.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, the age is crazy too,
Yeah.
right?
He's
28
pretty much a
rookie.
veteran coming
Yeah.
into it as a rookie.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he's
Exciting.
ready. I think he will, avoid the same mistakes that a lot of rookie drivers would make
Yep.
in their first season.
Yep.
And AlphaTauri has a good car.
Yep.
A midfield car. So
Yep.
if he's able to get points and battle it out,
Yeah.
that's what you want from a rookie.
Love it, Mikey.
Yeah, like just to comment on the Nick
Yeah.
thing as well, he actually proved himself in, was it Monza? Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Monza.
Monza last year,
So he
yeah.
already has, I think, like one step up than the other
Yeah.
2 rookies.
With a car that doesn't even fit him, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
imagine
back was
that.
hurting. Remember at the
his
end when they were
shoulders, he couldn't
weighing?
move.
Yeah, he couldn't even
Yeah,
move.
it was last minute. Imagine the pressure and everything, and he performed.
He delivered.
So I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. There's so much hype built around Oscar that
I know, I'm scared.
I think Oscar could really blow the competition away. I do.
okay.
You think he'll beat Lando?
I think it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I do predict that Lando's going to do a lot more this year, but Oscar's going to be in directly viewed upon Lando's performance. So I think he'll really push himself hard. I think
he'll push Lando as well.
Yeah, Lando.
He'll give Lando a run
it's-
for his money.
Yeah,
It's a real
definitely.
test
Yeah.
now.
I think he'll be Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
I think he'll be.
Yeah.
Evan?
I think it's Nick all the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
He is, as Henny said, he's much older. The two are 21, I believe. I believe Oscar and Sargent are
Yep.
younger. They just Nick has won Formula E championships,
Yep.
F2. He has seen. He's been around, and he also really stayed cool under pressure in the last year in Monza. So I think that if he's against, or his team against Yuki, I think there would be a much closer or a match versus Oscar against Lando, who I think Lando is just a little bit more. He's got a few years within the same team, so I think he's against their teammate. Nick is going to do the best.
Okay. Fair enough. All right.
That's it.
Favorite track now. I mean, we all love various tracks, I bet, especially with sim racing, right? I mean, there's some that we hate. But let's go over, what are some of our favorite tracks. Feven, what's your favorite track? If you had to drive anywhere, where would you go?
Brazil.
Brazil. Nice.
Yeah,
Interlagos.
there's the S's.
Yes.
It's just fun. I think the atmosphere there, the fans.
Yeah,
are
they look crazy.
Just so
Chaotic.
crazy.
I
love
And
it.
just so one is you see a much more inclusive, diverse set of people going there, and then you also have. That's where Lewis won his first.
He's an honorary citizen too.
Yeah. He also, I think he claimed his first world title in Brazil in 08. Yeah, I remember reading that somewhere. Anyway, so I love that track.
He
It's
beat
fun.
Felipe Massa,
Yeah.
remember? At the
Remember?
very end. When
yeah.
Massa's team was
Yes.
celebrating.
They were celebrating.
And then was it in the 2020 he started back at the
back at the
grid?
grid.
And that was just,
Well, I mean, Brazil always produces fun races.
Yeah.
It's so
for
much
any-
drama.
yeah.
Even
Yeah.
last year, that was my favorite race where I was literally on the edge of my seat because that was the only race that Lewis really
Yep.
had the
Had a-
potential to have to win.
wasn't it Magnussen as well? He qualified
yeah.
like fifth, and
He
then
got his
Danny
first pole.
Rick locked up and took him out in the corner.
Oh yeah,
That was
it's
bad.
so much drama. I love
Yeah.
Brazil.
That was a good track.
Cool. Henny?
I would say Australia.
Australia.
I love the straights.
Yeah.
And that's the one I perform really well on this year. So
It is
I'll
actually.
stick to it.
Auto controller, Henny's first time sim racing with us. Maybe one of the first time
Yeah.
sim racing with us. He didn't have his wheel yet, and he
No.
was on a controller, and he set like a 121 on Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
And Mikey and I were like, "What the hell?"
just
oh my
like that.
god!
Oh, this is
Yeah.
my track now. I
Traction
claim it.
control,
No.
brake assist,
It's crazy.
All of it.
It was crazy. Mikey?
I think Brazil is a great one because from the viewers, it's such a good track. There's always great battles.
Yeah.
But I love Spa. There's so much heritage of that track as well. I know there's something special about that when it's on in the weekend. So Spa for me.
God, you and I are the same. I was gonna say Spa too.
Oh, yeah?
I love your Rouge.
I hope they keep that
Yeah,
contract
F1,
there.
please.
Past 2023,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I hope they do.
Maybe
Yes.
5 more years. 5 more years.
10 more years.
10
Who
more
cares?
years. Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
let's talk. Our people got to talk to their people.
People.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't worry, guys.
We
We'll
gotta get it
get it
done.
done.
Yeah.
We'll get it done. Final few questions here. Let's talk about expectations, right? There's a ton of pressure in Formula One. That's what you always hear. If you don't perform, you'll get cut. Who do we think here is unlikely to meet expectations as a driver? Henny, do you want to kick us off there?
Honestly, I would probably say Logan Sargent. I know.
I'm walking
I
out.
know.
He just went straight for the
He went
heart.
for the gut.
I did. Look, I think he's a great driver. I just think he came into that spot a little too soon. I think if he had at least one more year in F2 to build his character, I think he would be a better driver in my eyes. So I think he might not live up to the expectation. It's at least
Yep.
yours.
At least my expectation.
yeah.
Oh yeah, championship or nothing.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
In a Williams.
I would say for me, it's probably Joe. I think
Yeah.
Joe. You'd agree, Feven?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a rookie season is one thing, but everybody views you in a very different way as a rookie versus when you're kind of now more experienced. In your second year, you're now viewed as more of an equal to your
Yeah.
teammate, right? And Valtteri's quick.
Yeah.
So, and Valtteri's great. So,
Yeah.
And he's a vet. Like he's
exactly.
there.
I'm curious to see how Joe performs, but I don't think he'll beat Valtteri, and I don't think he'll do as well as people think that he would probably have done, like maybe last year when he was a rookie coming in and the expectations were so low for him.
Yeah, true. How long has Valtteri got more in his contract?
One more year?
1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more years. Yeah.
Could be interesting because he's going to be hungry.
Yeah.
I think
well,
he
the
wants
Sauber
it.
deal is coming in, so they probably
yeah,
might have to
yeah, yeah.
renegotiate that too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I got to say, it's a tough question, but it's like if you compare it to Danny Rick, he didn't perform as we all wanted him to. I know Nico's coming back to Haas. I wonder how that dynamic with Magnussen's going to work because they were never really the best of pals back in the day.
Yep.
Some of the videos.
But then Nico could be insanely hungry to come back and prove everyone wrong. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know. I think that could be a weird dynamic.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that one.
Final 2 questions here. Season predictions, guys. Who do we have? Constructors, drivers, and that should just give one wild prediction as well, along with that. Maybe Feven, kick us off. Who do you have?
Okay, driver. I think
Charles? No.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I would love to say Charles, but I think it will be Red Bull.
Max.
Max.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Yeah, Max.
Max.
Yep.
At Red Bull.
'Kay.
Then I think from a constructor, I'm going to say hot take Ferrari.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
And then a wild. I think George Russell will win 3 Grand Prix.
That's interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Mikey?
I think Ferrari will get there. Will figure it out this year. So I'm going to say Charles drivers.
Yep.
I want to say Ferrari's constructor. But I also, just a side note, I
talking
want a
dirty.
competition. I want a competition
Three-way.
between Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. I
Yeah.
don't want 2 teams. I want 3 teams up there battling it out every weekend. It'll
Yeah.
make the dynamic way more interesting for the fans to watch.
Yep.
And wildcard is Lando's definitely getting his first win.
Oh, you took mine. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta think of
I
another
never
one
predicted
now.
the track, but I just know
Yeah.
he's getting. I know he's getting a win next
Oh
year.
my god, you should like predict the track to see
Yeah.
if it actually.
Okay, why don't I say he's going to get his first win in where does the McLaren perform well? And it's always got long straights.
Austria, maybe?
I was just thinking Austria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, Ferrari should. Really
He's done
jump
well
on
in
it.
Austria. 2 years ago, he
Okay,
did third.
Austria it is. Austria it
Austria.
is. Lock it in.
okay.
What's the bet? What's the bet? I want
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
money
Put
here.
money on it.
Over and
Let's
bet. Lando's coming on if this
Yeah.
comes true. Like.
Let's say $100.
Amazing. I'm
Canadian.
$1.
Euros.
Canadian. Yeah. Bro, come on, man. We're not chilling here. All right, well, that's a bet. There we go. First bet of the season there.
Locked in.
My picks are going to be Red Bull constructors. Charles is going to be the driver's champion. And I think Lewis will get 104 in terms of getting to his 104th
yes.
win.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I think that'll happen. I think he'll win
That's
one
a safe
race.
bet.
I think he'll win one
Yeah.
race. Please. Eddie.
I would say Max winning. I don't think Checo would, give them
Get
enough points
No.
for constructors.
I don't think so.
I would say Mercedes. They're the most consistent
Yep.
when it comes to getting points. And
Agreed.
I feel like they have fixed their car or their issues that they had last year. Knock on wood. And then for random or wild, I don't know. You took mine, so
Okay, let's
I'm gonna
brainstorm
say-
together then.
Yeah.
I'm
Wild
gonna
prediction for next
say
year?
Damn it.
Oscar gets a podium.
Oh.
That's a great one.
He'll get a podium.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Alright.
whether it's third or second, I don't think he would win one, but I think he'll finish one race.
No, it's
with a
fair.
podium.
fair.
Fair play.
That's fair.
Yeah, they have the car for it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
they do. Great.
Yeah.
Final question, guys. Dream guess. We've obviously now stacked up around 20 guests. We're definitely getting more throughout the season. But, who do we really want to interview? And by the way, feel free to drop in the comments, guys, who you think we should interview. Maybe it's someone we already have. But Henny, who do you think? I caught Henny while he was drinking water. Great job hosting, Swish. Feven, over to you. Sorry. Great job. Who do you have?
Even before we started this podcast,
Yeah.
I admired and loved the Danny Ricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be just my dream guest, fun guest. We'll shoot the shit. It'll be hilarious.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just to comment on that, like Danny, I'd love to go for a pint with that man. Just imagine the stories.
shoey.
Oh, hell no.
A Guinness in a
hell
shoe.
no.
That is disgusting.
No, but I'd love to have a sit down and chat with Danny Rick. I think it would be so natural and he'd be hilarious because the people we've met in the sport said that as how he comes across on TV, he is like that in real life.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not a show. So I'd love to meet Danny Rick, but also to get Lewis on as a guest.
Yeah.
outside the sport, he does so much. Inside the sport, he's done so much. So I think he'd have an amazing story.
And he doesn't do any podcasts.
No, he
interviews.
recently did one.
Jay
Yeah,
Shetty,
with Jay
Shetty, our man.
So
I
good,
listened
so
to it. It
good.
was so good.
Very good. He
Yeah.
did a
Yeah.
great job.
He's such a calm soul as well. Like,
He is.
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, he'd be good.
I think for me, I would want Toto to come
Oh,
on our
yeah.
pod.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to interview him.
my gosh,
He has some spicy interview answers typically, so I think he'd be fun and like nonchalant about
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
especially with our style.
Yeah.
Henny?
I would say I want a mixture of Danny Rick and Max because when they were
Again,
teammates
reunion.
together, they made some
Ruckus.
funny ruckus throughout the paddock.
Kiki.
I want both of them. I want
my
both of them
God.
on the pod
that'd be
together.
funny.
I think that would be a
Yes.
blast.
Yeah, that'd be
them two
funny.
together.
Yeah.
because they're
Imagine
like
just
polar
sitting
opposites.
in the room, just chit chatting. Like I could just see this.
Just it
going in so many
unfold in
different
front of you.
Yeah,
directions.
that's what I mean. They're polar opposites, but they bring something outside of you or inside or what's that word?
They
Out of
brought
each other.
out of each other,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
inside of each other.
Yeah, inside of each other.
Yikes.
Maybe not.
That's something they
Yikes.
would say. But
had
anyways,
long flights.
that wraps up, guys, the first episode.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very, very excited for a very fun 2023 season for
wait.
us
Yes.
and obviously
Yeah.
for the F1 community. Guys, stay along, please, this journey. We want to hear your feedback throughout. You know, give us the feedback, what episodes you liked, which guests you want us to go. If you are going to a race, put it in the comments. Let us know because we are actually picking which Grand Prix we want to go to even now. We are really committed to this. So we're looking forward to getting content to you every single week and a bunch of micro content throughout the weeks as well. So stay tuned for that. Henny, Feven, Mikey, Swish, signing off.